nurses. To find out more, visit absa.co.za. And now, the main news on Radio Tingalo, brought to you by Ruth Milling.
Ready, Chingulo, so that we may be one through the cross. Good afternoon with the main news. My name is Sarah Tamina. Kindly be informed that we're also streaming live on our Radio Chingulo Facebook page, and you can also listen to us via Radio Garden. The headlines: persons with disabilities in Ndola call on government to look at their welfare. Volunteers at Kito Teaching Hospital want permanent jobs. Enoch Mwepu says it is painful that Chipolo Polo is missing at the Africa Cup. And now the news in detail. Persons with disabilities at Wafwano Center in Ndola calling on government to look at their welfare. Some members of Wafwano interviewed by Radio Chinglo News at the center said they want government to empower them with sustainable programs such as chicken rearing. Others complained that they have not been receiving social cash transfer funds despite registering some years back.
na tetukola okuya mu street mulya twamukolo ministry yakolomba lomba banshi kuri muteko bushire twatema batwafulisha ko ifiringa amaso machines then batwafulisha ko na carpet equipment ana tumame kini wala na tinzibyo bakisi tira kini wala jabuza tubigira shero tamukati bakisi tukudira zikone miteni.
Chilabomba residents are encouraging proper disposal of garbage, especially during this rainy season. The residents regretted that some residents have continued to throw baby diapers indiscriminately. Speaking when Chilabomba Mayor Lucky Sichone led council workers in collecting garbage in Kakoso Ward yesterday, the residents commended relevant authorities for enhancing garbage collection in the district.
Especially animal diaper, if you go, no one is going to pick it, no one is going to pick Nava, let to a finish to push but the Palafutu Pela now, Chino. I can't evaluate Pitamu by the solution, number by Nika. Vacancy Lavelle, Deresha, Toka, Shasa Shaku, Sasha, send the free.
Coverting the framework to share with social. Chikankala Santana Mushuba, Shari Taman Road. So, bring about Bushra Soso, to Aram Rotunda, Military Shop, Waran and Wakansa, Quality, about Bushra Soso, Shari Approach Pamapa, I want to at least very person,
And Chilabomba Mayor Lucky Sichone warned residents that indiscriminate disposal of garbage leads to outbreak of diseases, especially during the rainy season.
Abantu abamusha kulimu bakanso batunaka apafiki twalalimbo abalimbo kufuubira kubona kibabombo tababati okubombera pani yali ashina tukokola sana mwana ngo tatwa kwata loda twakwata kimu nga bakanso na loda omukufera yali oneka that's why cha taking kitapako korogo batufunye ifiko efi.
Some volunteers at Kito Teaching Hospital KTH have alleged that management at the hospital is being biased when it comes to recommendation of volunteers to be employed on full-time basis. Health Minister Sylvia Masewo recently visited the Copperbelt and announced that volunteers from various health institutions would be first priority once the recruitment of over 11,000 health workers starts. But some volunteers from Kitu Teaching Hospital have alleged that management at the institution is not following the directive from the minister.
Those registers my name was not appearing. The response that I got was they do not recognize me and other people as volunteers. When we did apply for voluntary work through the normal channels, and they do have these records. But what I'm saying is I have been left out among the people that are supposed to be recommended for employment.
But the minister made it clear that the thing is they keep losing our documents. And then the response for the HR was there's no evidence that these people are doing voluntary work. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know any of these people.
Volunteers should be considered first. I'm kind of appealing to the government to help me because the management is against my wish, saying I'm not a volunteer when I am and have been doing voluntary work at Kitu Teaching Hospital.
If you are left out, then they bring up some people that are not even part of us volunteers, then it would be bad.
But when reached for a comment, Kitu Teaching Hospital Senior Medical Superintendent Dr. Abiden Chansa has described the accusations as false. Dr. Chansa says the hospital was following government's guidelines for all its undertaking, including recruitments. He spoke in a telephone interview with Radio Chingulu News.
The hospital has a number of those people that have been volunteers for a long time, and we shall follow the guidelines that have been given by the minister to work volunteers that have been volunteered in that hospital to be submitted to the new Ministry of Health for onward consideration. The list is with me now. I don't know where they are getting the information that their names are not there. So I don't even know them.
A business executive in Kitwe, Kelvin Chipili, has held the parents in Tuatashi Township for supporting their children's vocation. Speaking yesterday during the sending off of a student minister, William Mpunga, at United Church of Zambia UCZ Tuatashi congregation, Mr. Chipili commended the congregants and parents for their continued guidance. Mr. Chipili emphasized that the role of the church and parents were playing in imparting Christian values and supporting their children's vocation was helping in growing the kingdom of God. The community leader, who also donated 3,000 kwacha towards the church's activities, also commended the church for the continued guidance to politicians and the nation at large. In sports, Chipolopolo midfielder Enoch Mwepu is hopeful Zambia will come back strong and qualify to the next Africa Cup of Nations tournament. Zambia is not among the 24 teams competing at the 2021 AFCON edition, which kicked off yesterday in Cameroon. Speaking in an interview with Brighton and Hove Albion TV monitored by Radio Chingulu Sports, Mwepu said it is painful to see Zambia missing at the Africa's greatest football showpiece. And Mwepu has described the AFCON as a powerful tournament which unites the African continent.
Because it's awesome. Well, the AFCON, I think it's one of the first times also in Africa. So it's a big I hope that this other great expect. Yeah, I wish I could go to Africa. Those guys really inspired me. And just like for something.
This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chingulu with compliments of Moose Milling. And now international news as monitored from the BBC.
Uganda has instructed children to return to school almost 2 years after they were closed because of the coronavirus pandemic. Students will resume classes a year above where they left off. Uganda's National Planning Authority said that a third of children who were in school before the pandemic may never return. A court in military-ruled Myanmar has sentenced the detained leader Aung San Suu Kyi to 4 years in prison. She was accused of possessing unlicensed walkie-talkies. Jonathan Head reports.
Ms. Suu Kyi, who's not been seen in public since her arrest, still has several more serious charges confronting her of corruption, election fraud, and of breaking the Official Secrets Act. She's currently being held under house arrest. The ruling junta still faces widespread opposition. Some parts of the country are now engulfed in armed conflict as the economy is near collapse. Neighbouring countries are seeking a negotiated end to the conflict. So far, they've made little progress, but if they do, it's likely that such talks would at some point have to involve Aung San Suu Kyi, who remains very popular in Myanmar.
Beijing's municipal government is asking all residents, more than 20 million people, to stay in the city during the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday to restrict the spread of COVID. It comes during a second day of testing in the nearby city of Tianjin, where cases of the Omicron variant have been discovered. Stephen McDonnell is in Beijing.
All trains from Tianjin to Beijing have been halted. The 14 million people who live in the northern port city now need permission from either their employer or housing community to leave. With only weeks to go until the Winter Olympics, China is for the first time officially battling an outbreak of COVID's Omicron variant. Authorities have also announced that Omicron cases already spread from Tianjin to Henan province. Following concern that international teams arriving in Beijing might bring more Omicron cases into China, traffic officials here have advised locals not to approach vehicles carrying Olympic athletes, even if they have a car accident.
One of the main buyers of Belarus's big export, potash, says it's ending its purchases from April. The Norwegian fertilizer company Yara said international sanctions made it impossible to continue the trade. The crop nutrient is one of the main foreign currency earners for Belarus.
As we end our main news bulletin, we take a look at some of the stories making headlines again. Persons with disabilities in Ndola call government to look at their welfare. Volunteers at Kitu Teaching Hospital want permanent jobs. Enoch Mwepu says it is painful that Chipolo Polo is missing at the Africa Cup. Friends, for these and more stories, you can visit our Radio Chingolo Facebook page, and you can also visit our Radio Chingolo website, www.radiochingolo.org. Remember to play a part in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic by ensuring that you take up the safety guidelines. On behalf of the entire newsroom and Constance Kalunga, the sound technician on duty, my name is Sarah Tamina. Thank you so much and have a blessed Monday.